Good morning, everybody. How we doing out here today? Boy, it's a beautiful day here in Southern Appalachia today. We're going to try to do a video for you today. I just want to know if you want to come along with me today. It's going to be a good one, I hope. And toward the end, I'm going to show y'all something that I found under my house here a few days ago, but working on a water leak. It was partially uncovered, and I brought it out and restored it. So I'm going to show it to you here in a little while. But first, we're going to go and do a video out here today. We are doing it on old company stores, old coal company stores from back in the day. What they look like, and hopefully we'll go to one or two, maybe see the outside of them, and I probably gonna have some pictures of what they look like back in the day inside of them. So we're gonna go out today and see if we can look at some and talk about it. Every time I do a video, I learn something. So we'll go out today and we'll all learn together. But yeah, stores back in the day are different than they are today than they were back in the day. Them company stores, most of them were all combined. Everything was in one store. A lot of them was. But yeah, we'll go take a look at some and check them out. So I'll get right back with you just here in a little bit. Folks, here's one of the old company stores. It's called the Copper Stores. Back in the day, it was called Houston. It was an old company store that the coal miners used back in the day in the 30s or so. We're going to go up here and see if we can get some information up in town about it. This is the town of Kimball here, coming into, out the Carswell Hall. But this used to be, back in the day, there used to be an old company store that they used to get their supplies with. So we're going to go up here and see if we can get some information on this and do a little bit of reading on it. Let's go check them out. It looked like I found something on it. Excuse the traffic. A lot of traffic going by. We'll see if we can get this all read here about the store. In the early 1920s, David Houston, a prominent coal baron, owner of the Houston Coal Coke Company, built Houston Company Store. Unlike other stores, the Houston Company Store was built on the edge of Carswell along Route 52, rather than the center of town. The building housed a post office, payroll office, a retail store that served Houston Coal Company employees and their families. It also served as a gathering place for community members to socialize. Wow. Ownership of Houston Coal Company changed over the hands. Houston sold the company store to other assets to Copper Coal Companies of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who operated the stores between 1930 and 1960. Then buildings had housed businesses, including dairy, construction company, offices in McDowell County, emergency services. Houston Coal Company's store also sat vacant for a number of years. The efforts to restore the store began in 2005. Yeah, I think now it is a like a little museum, but it's not open at this time. Here's something of interest. I think it's pretty interesting. McDowell County had the largest concentration of African Americans in West Virginia coal fields between 1870s and 1900s. African Americans came to West Virginia to construct North Fork and Western Chesapeake, Ohio Railroad. After the railroads were completed, many decided to stay and find work developing coal industry. Coal operators sent laborers, agents to the deep south to recruit African Americans. Then the agents described the job opportunities available to coal fields. Wow. Yeah, folks, I'm in the town of Kimball, West Virginia, which it was says Frederick Kimball was responsible for the Norfolk Western Railroad being built through McDowell County. Kimball was born on March 6, 1844, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He worked for the railroad company in Pennsylvania and in England, where he gained valuable experience in the industry. Wow. Well, a lot going on back in the day, folks. I guess it says him here. Yeah, above Norfolk Western Railway, President Frederick J. Kimball. That's what the town was named after. This was a big coal town too. back in the day, for sure. But yeah, we're going to talk about what they used, what kind of money they used, and all that in these stores. We'll get to that here just in a few minutes. Well, folks, that was interesting. Wow, they really built some stores back in the day. We're going to talk about a little bit what they used for money. You would think that they would use cash, like dollars, but most of them around here back in the day, they didn't use dollars. They used coal mine scrip. A lot of it was from Auger Coal Company, but company scrip is for government issue, legal tender, or currency issued by the company to pay employees. It can only be exchanged in the company stores owned by the employers. Wow. In the United States, mining and logging camps were typically created, owned by operating single companies. Yeah, different ones used that type of stuff. One of the reasons that they used it is because that they used that special kind of scrip for their mines. You couldn't go out somewhere else to buy anything. You had to buy it at their store. So you could only use the scrip that was for that area, for that store. So like if you was from here around Kimball, whatever, and this store down here was using it for scrip for coal, then you'd have to use what they had. Wow. And you know, at this day and time, you know, you have cards and credit cards and all that, but back in the day, in these little small towns like this, these companies, they had you pretty much. You had to use what they had. And two, if you only had to buy from them or could buy from them, then you had to pay their prices. So they pretty much had you pretty much back then. So yeah, that's something else. Said in 1918, the Supreme Court ruled that scrip must be transferable and redeemable in cash, but the system persisted for decades. Several states passed laws prohibiting the payment of wages in scrip except for advances on future earnings. So many miners continued the need for advances, especially during the Great Depression in the 1930s, that the system flourished despite the laws. Some coal field residents have fond memories of the company store. Many were grateful for the credit during the hard times. Wow. This was a song actually. It's called 16 Tons. It's saying in it, you load 16 tons and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I don't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Wow. That kind of explains it right there, folks. They pretty much had you back in the day, for sure. You couldn't just go out and buy stuff anywhere. But yeah, we have. I found some scrip with my metal detector, off and on, for me to be living in an area here that's full of coal. I've not found a whole lot, really, of scrip, but there's a lot out there, I'm sure. But we'll go look at another store maybe find some old ruins of one maybe somewhere along the way, and yeah, we're going to look at what I found too. That's really cool too. I never thought that was under my house, but my house is over 100 years old. It's an old company house too, an old coal company house that I live in, so it's hard to tell what I'll find under there for sure. So let's go look maybe at another store, see if it's in operation or whatever. Y'all, this is something real cool. I thought I'd stop and show you. This is an old trolley ride that rode on a rail inside a coal mine. It's actually like a motor to carry a trip of coal. Right there is what you call a trolley pole. Goes to the trolley wire that puts the power to the unit to run it, and that is a jack on top there to to jack it back on the rail when you got it off the rail. But this right here says this locomotive and mine car are a gift to the Bluefield area Arts and Crafts Center, Pocahontas Coal Division. So this here hauled coal in it, and this unit right here pulled it up the track. That's been back in the day though. It don't look like that no more. They use great big motors inside the mines now, and a lot of coal mines don't even use track anymore. But yeah, these just look like about 60-pound rail, because I used to work in a coal mine and laid track, and these little metal ties, Lord, I've lugged in many of them in my time. It's pretty cool. An old locomotive from back in the day. Pretty cool. Thought I'd stop and show you that. Folks, I want to stop and show you this here. You know, we stopped where they had kept the buildings up. But this is a building up here at Vivian Bottom. It was an old company store called the Peerless company store. Kind of the same kind of thing. They had all kinds of stuff here back in the day. Let's see if we can get a picture of that, if I can find one, what it looked like back in the day. But this is just kind of remnants of what it looked like back in the day, and now look how it's taken over. The weeds and the trees and all that. It's a big old building back in its day. Huge. Yeah. I'd say there've been many people walk up these steps here to just buy everything you need for their families, for sure. No trespassing signs, so we'll walk down through here just a little bit, take a look, see. Wow. A lot of these old large buildings here from back in the day. Just standing here. It says here, Peerless Coal Coke Company, 1921. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff sold here and bought, for sure. But it's all been taken by the trees and time, for sure. So sad. They could actually restore these buildings, but it would take something to do it, for sure. See if we can go find one that's still in operation. Well, folks, this here is way up in the head of North Fork Hollow. It's called Ashland Company Store. This was an old store back in the day too, but they've redone it and they're using it now today. Just thought I'd show you. Not gonna go in. I think it's closed, but yeah, they've redid it and are using it to this day. So thought I'd show you one that was still being used. But we'll head over to my place there and see if we can find out what that is that I found under the house. So let's get over that way. So I'm headed back out of this big long holler out of North Fork Hollow. It's way back in here. I've never been back in here this far before. Ashland. That's where this company store was at. But I just want to do kind of a little recap on the different stores and stuff that's back in here and back in the day. But man, they were scattered out all over these little coal towns. A lot of them's not even existing anymore. Like we stopped at the first one there. It's now actually a museum, which wasn't open. And the other one, the Peerless, it was all growed up and all dilapidated. And this one here is actually being used now for a store itself. So, wow, it's pretty interesting. You know, we wonder, what did they have in them stores back in the day? Well, I've got some photos here that show that, well, some of them had, well, they all had, pretty much, they had meat shops. You could cut meat and stuff. They had like butchers, and they had shoe departments. You get any kind of shoes and boots you needed for work or whatever. And you can get clothing and all sorts of different types of clothes. And you can get had soda fountain machines I'd never seen before, but they had those, and had canned goods, all different types of canned goods. But like I say, all this stuff was bought through the company. Mostly was used mining scrip, and most of this area that I'm in is auger coal company. So you had auger scrip, different types of pieces of money that was, sometimes they had $5 on it, 25, all different types of little coins. Most of them was made out of brass, some of them made out of copper, just different types. But yeah, they had their own system here for sure. A lot different is today. Today we can go, well, here you can't hardly go very quickly, but you can go to Walmart, you can go to Lowe's and get your stuff, you can go Home Depot, you can go all different places now. Back then in the day, you had to do everything through the company you worked for. And it's a lot different than it is today for sure. But let's go ahead and head on over toward my place. We'll look at this thing that I found under the house. That's real interesting. It's cool. I've seen them. I've never had one, but I've got one now. But it's real cool. Let's go take a look, see. Get right back with you. Yeah, y'all, I made it back. I had to shed some of these clothes. It done got almost 65 degrees already. Alright, I'm going to show you what I found. I know some of y'all have been wondering what it's been, so I'll go ahead and turn it around here and we'll look at it real quick. Well, here it is, folks. It is a breast auger. It's a drill that you manually use to drill coal with. On this end right here, they've been a plate going against your chest. You take your hand, you put it there, and you crank it into the coal. That drills a hole. This thing's about, I don't know, about 8 foot long. Looks like the drill itself is about 6 foot there, from there to there. What they do, they drill a hole in the coal seam inside the mines, and they will stick powder in there with a cap and a wire and tamp it real good and go back out by somewhere and put the shot off. But yeah, that's what this thing's used for. And later they come with electric drills, but this is the first type of drill that they had with a breast auger. They used them all back in the early 1900s, and just wanted to show y'all that. I thought that was pretty cool. About this much of it right here was sticking out, was all rusty, sticking out. And I dug it all out under the dirt and I sanded it down, get the old rust off of it, and then I put some preservative on it there. Looks pretty good. I'll hang it up in out on my barn there, my whole building. That's what I want to show y'all, an old breast auger they used to drill coal back in the day. I'm sure whoever lived in this house many years ago probably used this to get their house coal with. Well, you know, I go get it myself in a truck, but back in them days they done it themselves. They drilled and shot it and got it themselves. Folks, I thought I'd take you along with me here today. I hope you liked this little video we've done today, and we'll catch you next time on Appalachian Roots and Stand. We'll see you on the next video. Catch y'all later, folks.